Is this the Italy that we love? Is this the Italy that we want? Absolutely not. These were the words that Silvio Berlusconi had uttered after the judge had sentenced him to 4 years in prison, most of which he's not going to serve. However, when looking at this was an act of humiliation, and indeed Silvio Berlusconi was unfortunately unhappy. Now, when looking at this, we can clearly see that unfortunately for Silvio Berlusconi, this may look like the end of his political career. However, The Economist of last year had once said after him being after him being convicted of charges on prostitution, that his political career was over. However, after a year's time, he went back to the polls and was once re-elected for the Senate. And with this type of political instability and volatility, quite frankly, in the election process, many have, quite frankly, looked at the situation as a toss-up. However, many are scrutinizing of the fact that he has gotten away with so much. And with the fate of Italian politics hanging in the balance, the New York Times of just yesterday was forced to ask the question: has Silvio Berlusconi's political career come to an end? And the answer to this question is, unfortunately for Mr. Berlusconi, yes, for the following three reasons. First, because of the sentencing process. Secondly, because of the Italians and how they lost hope in Italian politics. And lastly, because of the left and right coalition tensions on the rise. But first, we have to look to the sentencing process, which is unfortunately lenient for Silvio Berlusconi. Now, according to The Economist stated just yesterday, according to The Economist of just yesterday, Silvio Berlusconi was charged for 4 years in prison. However, due to an immunity law established in 2006, he will be only charged with 1 year and 3 years taken off. And also, due to Italian politics, we can see that first-time criminals who are charged with a year or less are not actually enforced to put in their prison time. Now, many have said that he has to do community service. However, with him at the age of 83, Italian politics does not also ask those who are of 70 years or older to in fact do community service. So he may be doing time in his house with house parole, or rather house imprisonment, which in a 66,000 square foot villa, this may not all be that bad. However, due to this humiliation, he has significantly been he's significantly been humiliated, and unfortunately is not looking at the bright side of this. However, according to the New York Times, dated of 3 days ago, they reported that in actuality, the Italian politics is a little more strict than many people let it to be. Indeed, he's not allowed to run for an office or any type for the next 6 years, and therefore Silvio Berlusconi is going to be spending time away from politics, and if he's able to live up to the age of 90, or rather 89, he's going to in fact have instability in regaining and centralizing his voter base, and therefore we can clearly see the instability on the rise. But secondly, we have to focus on the Italian politics, the Italian politics and how the people have lost faith. Indeed, according to El País, dated of August 6, 2013, when looking at the situation with politics and that of Silvio Berlusconi and that of Piero Bersani, who won the prime minister office but then resigned, we can clearly see that Italians have had it with politics. Indeed, many have lost faith. And according to a Pew Global Research poll dated August 1st of 2013, almost 13% more have actually said that they are not going to be voting in the elections, voting in upcoming elections, and therefore, when looking at the situation, it's only going to be led up to Enrico Letta, who is of the Democratic Party, to make or break the situation, and therefore he's going to have and therefore Silvio Berlusconi is not going to have the ability to continue his political career because his voter base and generally generally citizens in Italy, as of now, are not willing to vote for him unless he works for it significantly more and shows that he is worth his while. But unfortunately, this is not going to be the case because of how Italian politics has gone along so far. But lastly, we need to recognize that the coalition that had started in 2013 is unfortunately at tensions. Indeed, the Democratic Party and the right-wing, more conservative party is actually becoming more raising tensions. Indeed, according to the Washington Post of August 3rd, 2013, it's reported that the situation is almost as it is in Washington. Indeed, there is a stalemate going on with politics in Italy because the left-wing party and the right-wing party refuse to make ends meet. And therefore, because the country itself is not working cohesively, the country is not going to see itself at a better stance. And therefore, Silvio Berlusconi is not going to be allowed back into politics because the voter base understands that if anything is to be done, Silvio Berlusconi would not be allowed back into politics because he would overall cause much too much mayhem and chaos for the Italian government to work cohesively. So therefore, when re-examining today's question, has Silvio Berlusconi's political career finally ended? And the answer to this question is yes, for the three reasons that we've discussed. First, because of the sentencing process. Secondly, because of Italians losing faith in politics. And lastly, because of left and right-wing parties' tensions on rise. And therefore, we can clearly see, unfortunately for Silvio Berlusconi, he won't be coming back from the dead anytime soon.